That's 13,000. Huh? Another 1,000, that's 14,000. Yeah, just count those. So we got 14,000. Takbir! Okay, by the way, we get donations online. Brothers and sisters are watching us online, enjoying these programs from your home. Help us out, inshallah, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is 14,000.
So this is 920. We're 20 away from 1,000.
Okay, we're 20 away from 1,000. That will make it $15,000. Who can give those 20? So those are $15,000. Let's say $15,000. 15,000.
Okay, almost 10 now.
Almost 10. Okay, that's 15,000 minus 10. And another 1,000 takbir.
That's just mine.
Yeah.
MashaAllah, here we go. 1,000.
No, we didn't count. We only count what we received.
Oh, okay.
So that's 16,000 and 400. 16,400. Can we reach 20? Can we reach 20 tonight? Maybe we'll have another go tomorrow. So we're short of 4,000. Can we do 500s? 6, 8 times 500s? Who's going to start? Takbir. May Allah give you Jannah. That is 2. 2 in the back there. What? 100. Alhamdulillah. May Allah give you Jannah. May Allah reward you. May Allah bless your 100, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. Ya Rabb. Multiply. Yeah, you can. Yeah, raise your hand if you want to swipe your card. Okay, can we get another 500? Another 500, ya ikhwa? Allah. Jazakallahu khairan. May Allah reward you. So this is 1. 2.
I'll do 1,000 for my parents.
May Allah give you Jannah. They are alive?
They're very sick.
صلى الله يبارك فيهم يا رب العالمين. صلى الله يحسن خاتمتهم يا رب العالمين. اللهم ارزقهم عيشة هنية وميتة سوية ومردا غير مخزن ولا فاضح يا رب العالمين. صلى الله يبارك فيك يا أخي. May Allah reward you يا أخ أحمد. بارك الله فيك. تفضل. هو أحمد هنا الأول. صلى الله يبارك في مالك يا أخ أحمد. بارك الله فيك. تفضل. بارك الله في مالك. So this is 15. We got 2,000, right? So 2,000 more to go.
Just got 3,000.
Allahu Akbar. We just received 3,000.
Allahu
Takbir. Takbir. May Allah give you Jannah, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. May Allah give you Jannah. May Allah reward you tremendously, Ya Rabb al-Alameen. Ya Rabb, Ya Rabb. I think we're good to go, Sheikh Uthman, inshallah. Do you want to go more?
As you wish.
I mean, those are our brothers in Islam. We love them, you know. Inshallah. Right? That's good. Alhamdulillah. May Allah give you Jannah, Rabbil Alameen. Inshallah, we're going to check out, you know, what we have and expenses. We haven't really checked out everything. And if we need to have another go, we'll try tomorrow. Inshallah, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. But don't run away, okay? Come back. All right. Jazakumullahu khairan. Barakallahu fi shaykh. Inshallah, online, please carry on. Maybe you can work the stream, Brother Islam. Maybe you can get some donations online, inshallah. And with this, inshallah, I think we should begin the panel discussion, question and answer. So this way we can go home tonight, inshallah. Barakallahu fi. تفضل شيخ.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
So inshallah, we'll begin with the questions from the sisters. If you have a question for a particular sheikh that's up here, then you can feel free to address it towards them. Otherwise, I'm going to randomly assign them as away from myself. طيب. شيخ كريم أنت الخير والبركة لنا إن شاء الله. نبدأ بك سيد الشيخ سعيد العدلي إن شاء الله. أنت شيخ عدلي صح؟
اعتمد على أخي، إذا ما عندي علم خلاص.
طيب فسؤال لك شيخ. I keep hearing women can't be leaders. Is it okay for women to lead organizations, schools, etc.? جزاكم الله خيرا.
الشيخ سعيد أيكم سعيد.
For you شيخ.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. أقول والله أعلم بأنه ما أفلح قوم ولوا أمرهم امرأة، هذا في السلطان والولاية الكبرى ومثل هذه الأشياء. أما أنها كما بين الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم والمرأة في بيت زوجها راعية وهي مسؤولة عن رعيتها، ففي الأشياء.
Yes, you are. Beautiful.
Okay. No, I'm serious. I'm trying to struggle with my Arabic now. 45 feet in the masjid everywhere. So Allah al-Musta'an. To the best of my understanding, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he said what the meaning is, a people who put their leadership in a woman never successful. This to be the president or the congress woman or something in this public offices. Other than this, a woman can have some kind of wilaya or leadership. As example, in her house, as example, if she's in school, the main things they understand that she could not lead the salah, she could not be in front of the men, she could not be mingling with men. Other than this, there are things related to women, and women can be over women. And we see that there is a narration that Umar radiallahu anh had give, what's her name, this lady, عن موضوع السوق، ولايتها على السوق. نسيبة؟ إيش الاسم؟ لا. That means that she was in charge, understand, to check in the marketplace. Excuse me? And I said, okay, Jazakallah khair, but we say, yes, but it is a weak narration, Jazakallah khair. So basically, my answer in a women gathering and women jobs and things like this, I don't see any problem with it, but not to be any a main wilaya like a big muhafiz or a president or things like this. And Allahu A'lam, and Allah knows best. Somebody please give the correction. Is 13, is this amana? I maybe said something like the brother Jazakallah khair. Yeah.
Her name is the Shifa.
Shifa, Jazakallah khair. يشفينا ويشفيك إن شاء الله. يشفينا. حد عنده شيء أكيد. ها؟
بارك الله. So you're the one that passed Sheikh. Is towards the right. Allah. What is it about?
Or it's a lecture or riba in definition is increase. The linguistically something that has an increase. And of course religiously it is of two categories. And the riba that is famous, so that we make it brief among people nowadays, which is the riba of loans instituted in this, which is a clear riba, of course, riba when a person would take a loan and when it's time for him to pay the loan back, either he gives the loan exactly the same it was, or yurbi aw yazid, or he would have to pay more. But there is riba al-fadl and riba al-nasi'a. So it needs more specifications in this context of asking questions, whether it's something to do with loans or other things, inshallah ta'ala.
Sheikh Muhammad, marhaban. The question here for you is, Surah An-Nisa describes what a man should do to his wife if she's disobedient. What can a wife do to her husband if he's fulfilling his role and responsibilities?
You don't want me to answer. Out there. They just say, okay, fine, I'll be the wali and I'll marry you. And I'll say, okay, that'll be fine. We're not consulting with her parents, not, you know. And if she is a Muslim and her parents are Muslim, her parents are her dad is her wali. She cannot go pick and choose who her wali is. But at any rate, regarding the question is, she could go ahead, talk to her guardian, talk to her wali. The wali will go ahead and bring the issue with him to go ahead and rectify the situation. And then you need to go ahead and bring a judge from her family and a judge of his family to go ahead and bring you guys to resolve the issues. But from the aspect of what can she do, like, you know what I mean? I think the question is here is because the man could go ahead and go ahead and advise her and go ahead and leave her in bed and go ahead and discipline her, and all of a sudden I think like they want something like that, you know what I mean? And I hope that's not the intent of it, you know what I mean? But there are means. That doesn't mean she's stuck. If the man is not being a man, with all due respect, and he's not carrying on his responsibility, and he's not fulfilling his rights as a man, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala obligated upon him, she absolutely has means to go ahead and go through her wali and her guardians to go ahead and take care of it. And if he doesn't take care of it, then go ahead, consult the centers, if you are in a Muslim land, there is a judge, there is a court, you go ahead and take it to court and make sure that you get your right. And this is something that inshaAllah ta'ala they'll work on, inshaAllah ta'ala. Maybe we'll have some sort of a system here, inshaAllah ta'ala, that will protect the rights of the wives and also the husbands, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best.
Next question.
You know, it all depends. But I would rather be focused more in immuning them. There are a lot of learning moments that you should utilize to immune your children against such a trending. For example, you know, your son speaks in a woman way, you know, and come on, man, you're a man, toughen up. What is this? Talk like a man. What is this? Are you a man or what? That kind, you know. Come on, you're a girl. You know, reinforcing that. You see, you need to build that shield and gradually let them know the wickedness that is taking place in the outside world. You know, that because sooner or later they will discover this reality that there are individuals who are living, whether they could be family members who are indulged into this act, and we need to learn how to deal with them. Now, we need to, the problem that we have, brothers and sisters in Islam, that when the subject is brought up now in front of our children, they begin to have the attitude of the wife of Lut. And that's the danger. They are not sensitive about it. I remember these days when this subject was brought up in front of me, my body would, what is that? No, for them it's like, we have these, it's normal. You don't want that. إِنِّي لِعَمَلِكُمْ مِنَ الْقَالِينَ. That's what Lut said. Qalin here kari. I resent what you're doing. Yeah, I'm not gonna, do anything wrong because I live in a land, I have to observe the laws. Sexual preferences is protected by law here in this country, and there is nothing I can do it, but in my heart I hate it. So you must activate the heart of your child not to entertain, liking, or the freedom of such a thing. So you have to build up that shield inside your child's mind, and hopefully may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect them, Ya Rabbil Alameen. Unlike if you have been, if you watched what Brother Jibreel Romani said this morning, is the environment. Make sure that your kids are not in that environment at all. Jazakumullahu khairan.
Can I make a comment about
Yes, sure.
please? Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. I want to remind myself as well, my brothers and sisters, with the verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. Allah did not order us only to make salah. Allah say, oh, you believe, save yourself as well as your family from hellfire. And I would say to all of you, you have to do something about your children being in a public school. You have to create alternative. There is many other alternative, and we have to be collectively do something. You could not. ألقاه في اليم ثم قال له إياك أن تبتل إياك أن تبتل. It's no way. You could not throw somebody in the river, he doesn't know to swim, and say, be careful, don't get wet. I'm telling you. Why is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you understand, he warned us against jalis السوء كنفخ الكير. So we have to understand, me and you, we about to depart, to die time. This is our children, this is the future of Islam. If you are not going to do something about it, create alternative. Do you know that you have the right that you can raise your children, teach your children in your own home? You don't know about the laws, you have to know about these things. You have the right, you get the books, and there is a basic subject that you're supposed to teach your child, as long as you're giving him the education. You don't have to give them everything in the public school. Keep your children in your house, educate them, or pay for a private teacher to come to teach us. This is a big subject, a very big subject, because we're losing our children. And don't tell me, understand, he can be there and he's not going to understand, get affected by this. We're losing our children. This more than losing your car, losing your house, all these things. You're a child, okay? So please think about this and look for alternative and do something about it. Subhanallah, today I just was talking with Sheikh Karim about created alternative for schools. Like what is the name again? Dar al-Ulum, okay? We have something like in Washington, I think, or Baltimore. They have a school, you understand, a full time that they drop your children there and they stay there. They only come visit in the week. In Atlanta, there is many places. There is many places existed that they teach their children in Islamic school and giving them the same curriculum outside. Most of it's a curriculum. So please think about this. It's danger, it's serious. Our children like a sponge. They're going to suck everything that they see and they hear. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us so. This is a serious matter.
Tayyib, next question is celebrating our children's birthday considered a bid'ah? And should we participate in celebrating them? Many Muslims around me think our family is strange because of not celebrating birthdays and say it's okay within the family. Is this correct? So first thing, celebrating bid'ah, celebrating birthdays is first thing imitation of a religious ritual of kufr. Because if you actually look in the history of birthdays, and you can look this up yourself, it comes from the Greek pagans who used to worship the moon goddess by celebrating this yearly upon the birth date of a person. And many of those, don't act like that's not something present today, because many of the practices we have today are from there. For example, they used to make like a pie and light candles and blow them out. The candles were to replicate the light of the moon, and they would make a prayer, a wish, and blow them out. And the same things we see today. You know, they get the cake, you light the candles, don't tell anybody the wish, it's bad luck. Then you make a wish, then you blow out the candle. It's a pagan religious festival. We cannot celebrate it. And the ulama of Islam before us, Shaykh Ibn Baz and Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen and others were asked these questions, and you can look up their books of fatwa. So we cannot rehash this either. We cannot just come up and say 14 centuries of scholarly work is no longer applicable because somehow you went to Yale. So, just an example, yeah. Anyway, secondly, considering it a bid'ah. So first thing, this is imitation of kufr. But if you bring it into Islam, like if you make it an Islamic practice, then it becomes a bid'ah, because the Sahaba, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, none of them celebrated birthdays. In fact, even if you look in the biblical history, it was condemned. If you look at Christian work and Jewish work, it was condemned. And no doubt, Muslim scholars have condemned this practice. If people think you're strange for not celebrating it, يعني هنيئا لكم, mashallah, congratulations, you've been labeled as the ghuraba.
That's a bad.
And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Tuba lil ghuraba, the tree in Jannah, or a place in Jannah for the people who are considered as strange. So this is something that, may Allah bless you with it, that people consider you strange for not participating in something that is wrong. Ameen. May Allah make us from them. Ameen. The same questioner asks, if we do a hijab party for girls when they become the age where they wear hijab, would that be a bid'ah? Yes. I mean, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not go to Fatima radiyallahu anha and did it. Sahaba didn't do it. The Tabi'un didn't do it. The Imma like Abu Hanifa and Shafi and Malik and Ahmad, may Allah have mercy on them, didn't do it. And those that followed them in righteousness didn't do it. So we don't need to. At the same time, we should encourage our daughters and congratulate them in the sense that you give them targheeb about the importance of hijab and tell them how they look dignified and honored in it. That's great. But to throw a party like a bar mitzvah for hijab, it's not a part of Islam. Then the last question the same questioner has, when we say the tashahhud after sujood, we say Assalamu alayka ya ayyuhan nabi. Should we say alayka or say alayna? Because is this not calling upon the dead in a way? Regarding saying Assalamu alayka, this is mentioned from the hadith of Umar ibn Khattab radiyanhu and is proven from the Sahaba, so it's jaiz. Even the Abdullah Mas'ud radiyan has the statement that you can say ala and nabi, but the problem is that when we have a statement that is referencing a dua or an ayah of Quran or a thing, this is not calling upon the dead. For example, when we say, when we read the Quran, say ya Musa, it doesn't mean we're calling out to Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. We're reciting an ayah of Quran. That is not the same. So if you use alayka here in the tashahhud, because this is the way the dhikr has been taught, nothing wrong with it. But we're not calling out to the Prophet ﷺ. Rather, we're reciting a dhikr as taught by the Prophet ﷺ. Just like in the Quran, again, Ya ayyuhan nabi, when we see that, it doesn't mean we're calling out to the Nabi ﷺ, or Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. It doesn't mean we're calling out to every believer, but we're actually reciting something from the Quran. Tayyib. Next question. Sorry if you, and for all the shuyukh, including everybody, please let's make them a little bit shorter for the answers because we have a lot to get through. We haven't even touched the brothers, all from the sisters. So, Allahumma barik. Sorry if you've already went over this, but can you explain when is it okay to separate yourself from other Muslims, whether it's family, friends, co-workers? I'll let you guys who wants to. تفضل شيخ.
بسم الله.
Alhamdulillah. Separating oneself from Muslims, first of all, we have rights to be observed. And this is something that we have to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with our relationships. And there are levels, of course. the parents, the rights of the parents, the rights of the siblings, the rights of neighbors, and so on and so forth. When is it permissible to separate yourself? The deen is to be preserved. So if someone is harming you as far as your religion is concerned, you have to protect your religion first. But if it's a parent, for example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the matter very clear in the Quran that even if they are calling you to make shirk and to associate partners with Allah, you don't obey them in this, but with the fact that وَصَاحِبُهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. You have a good companionship with them because they have a right on you. The same thing with those who you have a blood relationship. You can have this selective separation, but at the same time you have a bond, a relationship that has to be observed, enjoining good, forbidding evil, doing the things, mixing with them in a way that it does not make you fall into any haram. This becomes a duty, and we're talking here about Muslims. So the rule, to make it short, inshallah ta'ala, لا طاعة لمخلوق في معصية الخالق, no obedience for anyone in disobeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't be in a gathering where the sins are committed and you would approve of that by your presence, even if it's the closest one to you, celebrating birthdays, mixing, all of these things. You separate yourself and you fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but at the same time you separated yourself when they have a party, mixed party. But then at the same time, when they don't have these types of things, be kind to them, visit them and give them gifts and all these types of things, Allah. And to advise them for the sake of Allah. Definitely. And to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, accuse yourself first. But maybe something that you did or have done wrong.
Sheikh Muhammad, you can take this one, inshallah. Can you please give us the correct understanding about selling things inside the masjid? Is it permissible in the musalla? And second related, same questioner. The sisters do not connect their feet when praying in congregation. Please give us or explain what is needed to be done. Jazakumullah khair.
Sheikh Adli is going to talk about salah. It's about salah, Sheikh Adli. السؤال أن الwomen لا يتراصون في الصلاة يا شيخ.
I thought this talking about not to sail in.
That's the first half.
Oh, okay.
The second half is about.
أحاول إن شاء الله.
You can explain both then, inshallah. About whether it's okay.
About sailing, you understand, because we have a proper respect of the mosque. So not to make it like a marketplace and disturbing people who's making salah. The masjid is not built for this purpose. And we have to honor the mosque that we do not carry these activities inside. So out of the prayer area, you understand, like you have this hall there in front of the musalla or whatever it is, in front of there by the choose area as example, is fine. But here, this is the musalla, it shouldn't be any, this dunya activity be, because those people have the first right over us, you understand, for dun, not to make it as a marketplace. What's the second part?
Women not connecting their feet.
To the best of my limited knowledge, that men and women in everything in Islam is the same, unless there is exception for them. Okay? So if for us to be shoulder to shoulder and foot to foot as a man, same way women, when they pray the same thing. إنما النساء شقائق الرجال. So they are the twin of men. Whatever apply to the man apply to her, unless Islam make a special rule for her, and Allah knows best. إذا كان صح وقل لي صح ما خطأ يعني لا أخي بارك الله فيكم.
Since Sheikh Muhammad dodged that one, what advice? I don't know. I don't think we've got any easy ones today. What advice would you give to wives, mothers with kids regarding seeking knowledge, time management priorities, and can a woman, is it advisable for her to delay marriage to seek knowledge?
No, I'll take the other question back. لا إله إلا الله. طيب. The Prophet ﷺ did say, طلب العلم فريضة على كل مسلم. Seeking knowledge is obligatory upon every Muslim. But like we said in the classes, that which is obligatory upon you to learn is that which is obligatory upon you to do. But we have to know that a woman, absolutely, if she could seek knowledge, it is good for her to seek knowledge. But the Prophet ﷺ though, spared her to go ahead from jihad. She's not supposed to. Alhamdulillah. And spared her from hijrah as well too. Walillah alhamdulillah. And then told her that the Hajj is her jihad. And the Prophet also sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, إذا صامت المرأة خمسها إذا صلت المرأة خمسها وصامت شهرها وأطاعت بعلها وحفظت فرجها ضمنت جنة ربها. الله أكبر. It is if the woman is to go ahead and pray her 5 daily prayer, fast her month, obey her husband, and protect her chastity and private part, she is guaranteed the Jannah of her Lord. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not obligate upon her to go ahead and go around and seek knowledge from that aspect. And the reason why there is that all of the messengers and all of the prophets that came before, they were what? They were men. So, but if she wants and she could manage the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by fasting, by praying the 5 times a day, and she could manage fasting the month of Ramadan, and she could manage being obedient to her husband, and if she has extra time for her to seek knowledge, go for it. Absolutely. There is no doubt about it. But those rights upon you takes precedence first before anything else. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best.
Sheikh, I'm going to read it for you, or you want to read it?
No, I'm okay. So the question, when you were talking about investing money, I think the questioner is referring to the presentation regarding the halal housing, authentic halal housing. It is being dhulm, a form of injustice, that you turn money into commodity, and that's what usury is. You see, usury, the problem with the usury that the one who has the money doesn't risk anything. He gives you the money becomes a merchandise, the money itself. But he's supposed to risk, supposed to invest it. So the questioner is following up and saying, what about stock market? Does the same rule apply? The answer is no. Because the stock market is an actual commodity. But again, the validity of stock or not, investing in a stock, is the nature of the stock. Is it liquor stock? Is it usury?
The product itself, is it lawful or not?
Say?
The product itself.
Yeah, the product, yes. Yeah, the product itself, whether it is lawful or not. So you have to inspect and examine and verify that. Jazakumullah khair.
The question is asked, what is the best way to bring unity within our Muslim community? Our youth in the world are dying using hardcore drugs and joining gangs. Then will the shuyukh and scholars here consider doing a da'wah course that could benefit for the sake of our youth from the streets? Of course, the best way to bring unity in the Muslim community is to go back to the Quran and Sunnah. Get away from hizbs, groups, and my jama'ah and your jama'ah and jamaat this and jamaat that and jamaat ikhwan and jamaat tabligh and jamaat that. Forget all of this. Go back to the Quran and the Sunnah. Not about my sheikh and your sheikh and how come you didn't sit in my sheikh's dars and why didn't you sit in. All of this nonsense is what splits the ummah. And when we go back to the kitab, to the Quran and the Sunnah, to the ahadith al-sahihah, and go back to the way of the Salaf al-Ummah in action, fi'lan, not just in statements, then that is the only thing. Otherwise, everybody's going to have their own idea and their own fiqh and their own this and that. Regarding the youth joining gangs, of course, we're aware of these things, and this is one of the points of the AIM conference, is to have a place for youth and others to come and benefit. And inshallah, we have the Da'wah Center that we have been working with Sheikh Kareem and Brother Eddie to make in Florida as a Deen Center, where we can have the youth come out and we do Da'wah trainings. In this masjid, alhamdulillah, we have durus and halaqat, some that are lighter for the youth and some that are deeper for Tullab Ilm. And we have Da'wah in the streets that we do, and we welcome the youth to join. And we will continue to have these programs to help in this situation. Jazakumullahu khairan. Sheikh Adli will take.
This is a big one. I take a small one.
No, this is the small one. This is the easier one.
I see. Not too much.
خلاص Sheikh, كما تحب. But then you have to take it, Sheikh. خلاص.
Okay.
This one.
No.
Okay. No, I was gonna give you the easy one.
Okay, give me the easy one.
This one has 3, and one of them I swear we can write a book on.
This one is 4.
4, خلاص, I'll give you 4. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. This must be for you because it said Sheikh. My question is about choosing between the mother and child unborn in a life and death situation where one of the other has to be chosen. With therapeutics, can a woman choose to save her life and not her own?
That means one of them have to live, the other person have to die?
Yes. Does that happen?
I don't know.
It could, like, for example...
No, it's not, you understand. Number one, we ask the doctor or whosoever specializes in things like this, okay? Can both lives be saved? Okay? Take a means towards, because for somebody to die because he's sick or because they have a problem, this is in the hand of Allah. Can you do your best to understand both of them to be saved? Now, when you try to choose the mother who's going to take care of this baby, who's going to take care of the other kids. So when we are facing with, if this is reality and you're facing with a problem, you try to take the less harm always, okay? And Allah knows best. And this is something that I'm not saying, yes, but this is what Islam is about, okay? That you always try to see what is the lesser harm, and if you have no choice, and Allah knows best. Did I pass?
Perfect.
Sure.
So again, case by case basis, look at the ijtihad of the time, speak to the medical professionals. This is not a general ruling, right? You have to look at the situation. Tayyib Sheikh, since you wanted 4, we're going to take you with 4. How do I fix my character and the way I treat my family?
I already answered the question.
You said Sunnah is 4, Sheikh. Okay, khalas.
I was talking about 4 something else, but you did not. You see now, everybody has started laughing. They love this 4.
MashaAllah, Allahumma barik laka. Tayyib, so how do I fix my character? The best way to fix your character for anybody, if you ask me, which I would say for myself as a nasiha for myself first, is to always look at the akhlaq of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praised the akhlaq of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam in the Quran. So we know that this was the best of manners. Even in our da'wah, when people say, how do you stay patient? We always look back at the seerah. We look at how the Prophet ﷺ dealt with his wives, how he dealt with his children, how he dealt with his neighbors, and that is the best. So learn the seerah. First thing, if you don't know, don't just depend on here and say, learn what is authentic. And then every time you learn, like for our sisters, when you learn about the wives of the Prophet ﷺ, for our brothers, when you hear about Rasulullah ﷺ, don't think, oh, I should tell this person that. Think, how can I bring that into my life? Whoever asked these questions, I could literally write a book on each one of these, so I'm going to give brief answers. What is the duty of a woman in Islam?
Who's the man, the husband?
Huh?
It depends who's the husband.
The Sheikh said it depends on who's the husband. Regarding the duty of the woman in Islam, there is a lot. I mean, some duties of a woman are the same as a man. Yani making salah, fasting, hajj, zakat, these are, like the Shaykh mentioned, the women is like the half of the man, and the same ahkam are the same. Some things are different, obviously, regarding breastfeeding and haid and nifas. So I would suggest that the sister seeks knowledge. Whatever Allah has ordained in the Quran, whatever has been established ala lisan al-Mustafa alayhi salatu salam, on the tongue about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whether it's for man or woman, we should fulfill it to the best of our abilities. What does it mean to eat meat slaughtered by the people of the book? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made halal ta'am, the meat or the food of the Ahlul Kitab. That means that meat which has been slaughtered in accordance to the way of Ahlul Kitab. Not meita. Not you take some meat, you hit it on the head, you take a cow and you shoot it in the head with a nail and you say Ahlul Kitab. No. In the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Ahlul Kitab used to use the rabbinic laws, which is from the Old Testament. And there are today Jews and others who do follow those laws. That meat which has been slaughtered, properly, the dhabh has been done, which is the way of Ahlul Kitab and the way of Islam. And the name of Allah has been mentioned on it, even if it's not in Arabic. If it has been done, then that meat is halal for us as Muslims, which much of the kosher meat would go in that. But meat that has been killed through electrocution or hit to the head or hit by a car or something like this is not halal. This is called meita. This is not meat of Ahlul Kitab. People can try to mix fatwa, whatever they want, but the reality is that this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordained, and we have the fatwa of Shaykh Salih al-Fawzan and others, videos and so on our Majribat channel, if you want to get details into that, inshallah. Alright, I'm going to start passing soon.
Even if a Muslim killed it, the maita.
That is correct. Jazakallah khair. Even if a Muslim killed it in that way, like they do here when they shoot it with a nail in the head, even if a Muslim did that, that would be haram. So we shouldn't fool ourselves and try to make excuses. Sheikh Ibrahim, how does a woman fast 2 consecutive months for kafara if she has menses?
Inshallah, this is a good question. The 2 consecutive months, if it's fasted as kafara, whether it's for women if she has menses or a man if he has an excuse, it does not break the consecutivity of the 2 months. So if she has the menses, she breaks her fast, of course, this is mandatory, and then right after that she continue with the 2 months. That means it's going to be the total of 60 days fasting. The same thing if a person is fasting 2 consecutive months and he travels, right? Not to make a hila, not to make a matter of deception, or al-hiyal mamnu'a fil Islam. If a person is making a trick so that he breaks the fast, that's not permissible. But if he has to travel, if he travels, then he can break his fast, but it does not break the consecutivity of the 2 months. Then once he come back, then he continue the 60 days of the 2 months. Wallahu a'lam.
Are men allowed to wear necklaces in Islam?
Necklaces?
Yes.
طيب.
On their neck, but.
Okay. طيب. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لعن الله المتشبهين لعن الله الرجال المتشبهين بالنساء لعن الله المتشبهين من الرجال بالنساء ولعن الله المتشبهات من النساء بالرجال. Allah subhanahu, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that may they be kicked out of Allah's mercy, those men who imitates women and those women who imitates men. And wearing necklaces is for a woman to purify herself for her husband. Adornments, it's for a woman to purify herself. It is not befitting for a man to go ahead and purify himself in the same manner or fashion as a woman would. Rather, his beauty is by his beard. As Aisha radiyallahu anha used to say, سبحان الذي زين الرجال باللحي. Glory be to the one, O Allah, who beautify men with their beard. If you want to beautify yourself, then go ahead and grow a beard. But if you want to go ahead and beautify yourself in a manner that would resemble a woman, or a female, okay, we're not going to go into who's a woman now, but that is not permissible, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best.
That's another learning moment. Look like a man, man.
Tayyib, inshallah, because of the sake of time, we're going to take these and we're going to wrap it up. I know we only answered the sisters' questions today, so sisters can't tell us that we're not being fair. We gave them precedence. Inshallah, tomorrow we will also have the panel and we'll get to the brothers' questions. So we have three.
Brothers will say feminism.
Feminism, red pill, blue pill, we're going to have to take it from one side. So. The question here, which I'm just going to quickly answer, which is mental health is a crisis point in our country and society, and is a growing problem in the Muslim community. It seems like everybody's always quick to jump on blaming it on jinn and witchcraft, and we understand the Quran is important, but how do we strike a balance? The best answer for that is go to the people of knowledge. So if you see a situation, go to the people of knowledge, the people who have studied the Quran and Hadith and understand. They can differentiate between what is mental health issues and what are issues of jinn and magic. And the majority of these cases that come are mental health issues. I know because I used to sit with Sheikh Yusuf Mish'al and Sheikh Hamil and others when these cases would come, and the majority would not be issues of jinn and magic. Majority would be mental health issues. But we believe that there is jinn, and the jinns do harm humans. We believe there is magic. It's proven from the Quran and Sunnah and what we've seen. Sheikh, last question will be for you, Sheikh.
تفضل يا شيخ. أنا أقرأ لك السؤال وأنت تجيب السؤال. بضاعة قليلة. حط عندك.
عندك الزوجة تريد أن تحج، هل يجب على الزوج أن يأخذها للحج؟ والزوجة ليس أو لم تحج من قبل وليس لديها المال ولكن الزوجة لديه مال وغني ما شاء الله. So the wife, she wants to go for Hajj. Is it mandatory upon the husband to take her for Hajj? And she's saying that she's never been made Hajj before and she doesn't have the money, and the husband, mashallah, he's have money and he's rich. So she said,
First, I want to know if your husband here or not. I don't want to get in trouble. I want to go back home. He's not here? Okay. As you understand that كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. If let's assume, may Allah forbid, that something your wife have to make an operation, and the husband even did not have the money, what he's going to do? He's going to go borrow money. Now, why we could not understand? The Prophet ﷺ لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. It's for your brother. You have to love for your brother who's not. You understand? Is your brother but it is your brother in Islam that you're supposed to. So why you are not going to wish the same thing for your wife? And you have the money, you have all these things, okay? And you made Hajj and you're going for another Hajj and she never, okay? So I will advise the brother that take his wife, and inshallah he be rewarded also for taking her. I advise him very strongly, okay? And we have to try to please them in things which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had make it lawful. So if he has the money, why not? I don't see what is the reason, okay? Maintaining her كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. Do you think your responsibility is only feeding them? You need to feed her spirituality. You want to give her this iman. She want to get a hajj. She have a feeling like you. She want to see the Kaaba. She want to do. So I would say yes, he will have, especially that Allah give him the means and she could not travel in her own. And Allah knows best. Correction, please. No, please.
What the Sheikh said is right, mashallah. The thing is, sometimes people that confuse the fiqh matter versus what the husband should do. So the answer that is needed is the husband should do that. But if they go to the judge fiqh matter, it's not obligatory upon him. But not everything is to be taken dry cut with the fiqh ruling. There is something with regards to husn al-mu'ashara and the good living together.
Jazakumullahu khairan. So I want to thank all the shuyukh here for their sharing the knowledge. And inshallah we're going to end, for this food is getting cold. Inshallah we also have the program tomorrow. So the plan right now, we'll meet at San Diego State inshallah, as we did. And we'll discuss further the program there. And we'll have a panel again. So tomorrow, inshallah, brothers, I promise, inshallah, by the will of Allah, we'll begin with your questions. And sisters, if you have questions, just like today, we send them, we'll cover them as well. Barakallah fikum. There are a couple of questions we didn't get to. We will get to them tomorrow, inshallah. Barakallah fikum.